Have you been holding on too long? To stress? To control? To things that no longer serve you? Are you tired of feeling like you carry the whole world? What if peace begins the moment you let go? And what if letting go is the most powerful thing you can do? Hi friends, and welcome back to Son.Mindfulness. We're so glad you're here with us today. Stay with us until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear might just change how you live the rest of your life. We're living in anxious times. People are overwhelmed, overstimulated, and overstretched. We try to control everything: plans, people, outcomes. But instead of peace, we find exhaustion, tension, sleepless nights, tired hearts. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever asked yourself, what if I didn't have to hold it all together? What if you gave yourself permission to let go? In this video, we'll explore 7 powerful Buddhist teachings, each one simple, each one timeless. Each one an invitation to breathe a little deeper. You'll learn why fear grows when you feed it, why surrender is strength, and how letting go opens the door to peace and freedom. At Son.Mindfulness, we don't just share ideas, we guide you home to yourself with stories, reflections, and ancient wisdom made simple. If this message speaks to your heart, please support us by subscribing to the channel. We're building a space for calm, clarity, and connection. Now let me ask you, are you ready to stop gripping so tightly? Are you ready to soften, breathe, and allow life to flow? Then take this first step with us. Let's begin the journey together. When you let go, life begins to flow. Part 2. We were never in control. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, life keeps slipping through your fingers? Like you're juggling too many things, but the more you manage, the more exhausted you feel? You're not alone, and more importantly, you're not broken. You've simply been trained to control things that were never yours to hold. Our culture rewards those who plan, fix, push, and hustle. We're told, don't let go, never lose grip. But what if that grip is the very thing pulling you under? Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, how much of your worry is about the future? How many nights have you lost over things that never even happened? Now here's a quiet truth, one rooted in ancient Buddhist wisdom. Peace isn't something you earn by working harder. It's something you allow when you stop resisting life's natural rhythm. You don't have to become a monk. You don't have to sit in silence for years. But you do have to learn to let go. Gently, consistently, and with awareness. The teachings of the Buddha don't demand perfection. They invite you to release what no longer serves your heart. Letting go isn't giving up. Letting go is choosing to trust. It's the simple but profound decision to stop interfering where you don't need to. This guide is written especially for you. Yes, you who's lived, lost, loved, and now longs for more ease. It's for those over 50 who've carried the weight of children, careers, regrets, and what-ifs for too long. You've earned your wisdom. Now it's time to earn your peace. In the pages ahead, you'll discover 7 timeless Buddhist lessons. Each one speaks to a part of you that's ready to soften. Each one is an invitation to let go. So before we begin, ask yourself this. What are you holding on to so tightly that it's starting to hold you back? Let's begin where all real peace begins, by understanding how Buddhism sees the art of letting go. In the next part, we'll explore how Buddhist wisdom teaches us to stop clinging and start flowing, gently, wisely, and without fear. Let's step into the Buddhist lens on letting go. Part 3. The Buddhist lens on letting go. Let's be honest, letting go isn't easy, especially when we've been told all our lives to hold on tighter, to control outcomes, to shape people, to force results. But what if everything you were taught about control was upside down? Buddhism turns that idea on its head. Instead of grabbing life with clenched fists, it invites us to open our palms, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. Take a moment. What are you trying to control right now? A person? A situation? The future? Now ask this, has all that control ever brought you true peace? The Buddha taught 3 truths that reshape our relationship with control. 1. Everything is impermanent. Anicca. Everything changes. Your body, your job, your emotions, even the people you love. Trying to freeze life in place is like trying to stop the tide with your bare hands. No matter how strong your grip, the waves always win. But when you let go, you start to float. You stop fighting what was never meant to stay. You begin to trust the current. 2. There is no fixed self. Anatta. You are not your worries, you are not your past, and you are not your plans. Clinging to an identity, the fixer, the protector, the one in control, only leads to suffering. Why? Because when things change, and they will, you suffer the loss of who you thought you were. But when you let go of the false self, a deeper self appears. A self that can bend without breaking. A self rooted in presence, not performance. 3. Letting go is not passive, it's active trust. Letting go doesn't mean you do nothing, it means you do what's needed and then release what's not. Buddhism calls this tuiduin, acting with intention but without obsession. Think of the great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. He once said, "Smile, breathe, and go slowly." This wasn't laziness, it was power in its calmest form. To act with care, but not fear. To move with purpose, but not panic. To trust life without needing to micromanage every moment. The Buddhist path is not about controlling life, it's about cooperating with it, flowing with it, living fully in this breath, not in tomorrow's fantasy. So what would happen if you paused today? What would open if you loosened your grip? Where might life take you if you finally let go? We're about to find out, because next, we'll explore 7 real-life lessons that show how letting go transforms not just your mind, but your world. Let's begin with Lesson 1. Fear is a seed. Part 4. 7 Buddhist lessons that will change how you live. Lesson 1. Fear is a seed. Fear doesn't knock politely, it barges in. It whispers worst-case scenarios, and before you know it, you're living a life designed to avoid what hasn't even happened. But here's the secret Buddhism reveals. Fear isn't just a reaction, it's a seed. And like any seed, what you plant grows. The Buddha said the mind is like fertile soil. It doesn't care what you plant, fear or peace. It will nurture whatever takes root. Let's look at a story from real life, the general who feared his own fall. There was once a brilliant military general in ancient India. He led armies with confidence and precision. But in private, he lived in terror, not of enemies, but of losing his power. Every decision he made was shaped by suspicion. He distrusted his commanders, he spied on his own allies, he saw betrayal in every corner. Eventually, his paranoia consumed him. His troops turned cold, his allies withdrew. He lost everything, not to war, but to fear. He had planted fear, and fear bloomed into isolation. What about you? What fears are shaping your day? Fear of losing someone? Fear of failing? Fear of being judged? How often do you shrink your dreams just to feel safe? The problem is not fear itself. Fear is natural. But living from fear? That's suffering. Buddhist wisdom doesn't tell us to ignore fear. It asks us to see it clearly. When fear arises, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this fear helping me grow, or is it closing me off? This one question can change your day and your life. Because the moment you stop feeding fear, you make space for courage. And when courage grows, your world begins to expand. Letting go of fear is not about being fearless, it's about being free to act even with fear present. So let go of the story that fear must rule you. You are not your fear. You are the one choosing what gets planted in your mind. Let's move deeper into that choice and discover what true strength really looks like. Up next, Lesson 2. True strength is surrender. Lesson 2. True strength is surrender. We've been taught that strong people never give up, that they hold on, push harder, fight longer. But Buddhism teaches something beautifully different. True strength isn't found in gripping tighter. It's found in letting go. Letting go isn't quitting. It's knowing when to release what's breaking you. Think about this. Have you ever tried holding water in your hands? The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. But when your palms are open, the water stays. That's what surrender looks like. The emperor who couldn't control the sky during the Tang dynasty, Emperor Xuanzang, was known for his brilliance. He tried to manage every detail of his empire, every army, every harvest, even the timing of the rain. When a great drought hit, he ordered rituals, ceremonies, and punishments. But nothing worked. Finally, he went to a humble monk named Master Huineng. The emperor demanded a solution. The monk said softly, "When you stop demanding, nature will return." At first, the emperor was furious, but eventually he stepped back, stopped interfering, and just days later, the rains came. Surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. It means, I've done my part, now I trust the rest to life. Letting go of control invites something amazing, clarity. When you stop fighting, your mind softens. You notice things you missed. Support shows up where you never expected. Ask yourself, where in your life are you squeezing too hard? A relationship? A dream? An outcome? What might happen if you loosened your grip? When we let go, we don't lose power. We discover a deeper kind of strength, the kind that moves with the world, not against it. Now that you know the power of surrender, let's look at something even more personal, where anxiety truly lives. Coming up next, Lesson 3. Anxiety belongs to tomorrow. Lesson 3. Anxiety belongs to tomorrow. Anxiety has a clever disguise. It makes you think you're being responsible, that by worrying, you're somehow preparing. But the truth is, anxiety doesn't live in the present. It lives in a future that doesn't exist yet. A place made of what-ifs and maybes, and it steals the only thing you truly have, this moment. Buddhism teaches that peace can only be found in now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. The doctor who forgot to breathe. Lee was a well-respected physician in Singapore. After retiring at age 60, he began to worry. What if his health failed? What if he became a burden to his family? He scheduled tests. He monitored every ache. He searched symptoms late into the night. One day his granddaughter asked, "Gong Gong, are you sick?" He paused and realized he had been living as if he were dying, so he started walking daily. No phone, no steps counter, just breath and sky. Within weeks, his anxiety began to melt. Not because his body changed, but because his mind came home to the present. When your mind races ahead, your body suffers. You can't breathe calmly if your thoughts are chasing disaster. Try this. Take one deep breath. Now ask, is there danger right now? Often, the answer is no. You are safe, you are breathing, you are enough. This is the power of mindfulness. Every time you return to now, you let go of a little fear. And each time you let go, you reclaim peace. Letting go of anxious thoughts doesn't mean ignoring life. It means living in it. So what's your mind running toward today? And what if you paused long enough to catch up with yourself? Now that we've stepped into the present, let's look at something else that burdens us. Imagined fears. Up next, Lesson 4. The burden of imagined fears. Lesson 4. The burden of imagined fears. Not all burdens are visible. Some are made of thoughts, and some of those thoughts never come true. Buddhism teaches us this. Most of our suffering comes not from life, but from imagination. Your mind is a brilliant storyteller, but it doesn't always tell the truth. It imagines disasters. It invents rejection. It plays movies that never reach the screen. The singer who feared her fall. Barbara was a famous jazz singer in New York. After turning 50, her voice began to change. She imagined critics mocking her. She pictured empty rooms. She saw her legacy collapse. So she canceled her tour, refused interviews, and stayed silent for 3 years. Until one night her grandson asked, "Grandma, do you still love singing?" She cried. And the next week she sang again, at a tiny cafe. No reviews, no pressure, just music. And the crowd, they wept. Her imagined fears had silenced her joy, but reality was far kinder. How many worst-case scenarios have you carried? How many sleepless nights have you spent bracing for things that never came? Buddhism teaches us, a thought is not a fact, Just because your mind says it doesn't make it real. Try this next time anxiety whispers. Pause. Ask gently, is this happening? Or am I imagining it? Most of the time you're fighting shadows, and shadows disappear in the light of now. Letting go of imagined fears means putting down bags you were never meant to carry. It means trusting that life will meet you where you are, not where your fear says you'll be. So the next time your mind writes a scary story, close the book, come back to breath, to body, to now. Because when you let go, reality is often softer than what you feared. Now that we've begun unpacking fear, let's look at the hidden cause beneath it all: control. Coming up next, Lesson 5. Control blocks faith. Lesson 5. Control blocks faith. Here's a hard truth. You can't have full control and full faith at the same time. Buddhism teaches that control and trust walk in opposite directions. The tighter you grip, the further you drift from peace. Trying to control everything is a subtle form of fear. It says, if I don't do it, it'll all fall apart. But has that ever brought you lasting peace? The king who couldn't sleep. King Ashoka ruled over a vast empire in ancient India. He was wise, just, and deeply respected. But at night he couldn't sleep. He obsessed over his people's safety, over war, over taxes, over famine. So he tried harder, micromanaged his council, sent spies to villages, dictated crop rotations. Still, he found no peace. One day, a monk visited him and said, "You may rule the land, but you do not rule time." Ashoka stepped back, started meditating, delegating, trusting, and for the first time in years, he slept. Trying to control every outcome is exhausting. It doesn't prevent pain, it prevents rest. Letting go of control is not neglect, it's an act of faith. It means you've done your part, now you trust the unfolding. Ask yourself, where are you overmanaging? Your family, your health, someone else's path? And what would happen if you stopped pushing? Letting go means planting the seed, then walking away. It means letting the sun, rain, and soil do their part. You don't grow a tree by pulling on its leaves. Faith is not passive. It's active surrender. It's choosing trust when certainty isn't available. So let go of the illusion that your control is what holds the world together, and maybe, just maybe, you'll feel the ground holding you instead. Now, with faith in your pocket, let's see what happens when we shift from fear to expansion. Coming up next, Lesson 6. Letting go is how you begin to grow. Lesson 6. Letting go is how you begin to grow. Worry doesn't just weigh you down, it shrinks you. At first, it's just a small hesitation, then a second guess, then a quiet decision to play it safe. Before long, you're living smaller than your spirit. But Buddhism teaches this. You cannot grow and cling at the same time. To bloom, something must be released. The painter who hid her colors. Lena was a celebrated artist in Paris. At 62, she hadn't painted in a year. Why? She feared she'd lost her touch, that younger artists were better, that people wouldn't understand her new ideas. So she played it safe. She cleaned her studio but didn't create. She planned exhibitions that never happened. One afternoon, she picked up a brush. Not to impress, not to sell, but just to feel again. She painted with raw color, shaky hands, and no plan. And when she stepped back, she cried. Not because it was perfect, but because it was honest. She had let go of the outcome, and finally, she grew. Growth lives in the present, not in the perfect plan, not in what others think, not in what might go wrong. Letting go means stepping out of the shell of caution and into the world with an open heart. Ask yourself, where have you gone quiet to avoid being hurt? Where have you played small to feel safe? What if you poured that energy into courage? You don't have to leap. Just one honest step will do. Letting go makes space. And in that space, creativity, courage, and joy take root. So don't wait for the fear to leave. Let go anyway, because growth doesn't follow comfort, it follows release. And now we've reached the final, most powerful truth, where all this has been leading. Next up, Lesson 7. Life begins to flow when you step aside. Lesson 7. Life begins to flow when you step aside. Life doesn't need your constant interference, it needs your cooperation. But that can feel terrifying, especially when you've built your whole life on the idea that control equals safety. Here's what Buddhism teaches. You are not the river. You are the one learning to float, and floating takes trust. The CEO who finally stopped fixing Thomas was a powerful tech executive. Every hour of his day was scheduled, every meeting controlled, every outcome measured. Until one day, he burned out. Not because he was weak, but because he never stopped trying to fix what was never broken. On doctor's orders, he took 3 months off. At first, he panicked, but slowly something shifted. He stopped checking emails. He started noticing birds. He had dinner without a phone on the table. And his business? It didn't fall apart. In fact, it ran smoother because his team had space to lead. He stepped aside, and life flowed. Letting go isn't dropping all responsibility. It's dropping the illusion that you are holding everything together. Ask yourself, where are you over-involved? Where are you inserting effort where trust should be? Imagine you're holding a butterfly. If you grip too tightly, you crush it. But if your palm is open, it might stay longer. Life is the same. It responds to space, to softness, to letting go. You can't force alignment, but you can allow it. The stream doesn't ask the rock to move. It flows around it, quietly, steadily, without resistance. So breathe, loosen your grip, step aside, and watch how life shows up for you. Now that we've seen what's possible when we stop resisting, let's get practical. Coming up next, Part 5. Integration in real life, how to start letting go today. Part 5. Integration in real life, how to start letting go today. Reading is powerful, but practice, that's where the magic happens. So how do we move from idea to action? From understanding to real peace? The Buddha never asked us to believe blindly. He asked us to test the truth for ourselves. Here are 4 gentle ways to begin letting go, starting now. 1. Begin with your breath. Your breath is always now. It cannot live in the future or in your past. When you feel tension rising, pause, inhale slowly, exhale completely, repeat 3 times. This simple act pulls you back from imagined fears. It reminds your body you're safe. You don't need to fix the future to enjoy this breath. 2. Write what you can and cannot control. Draw a line down a piece of paper. On the left, list what's yours to do, how you respond, your tone, your intention. On the right, list what's not yours, others' opinions, the past, timing. Look at the right side. Now say out loud, I release this. This is letting go in real time. 3. Practice the pause. Before reacting, pause. Before giving advice, pause. Before correcting, pause. Let silence do its quiet work. Every pause is a doorway to peace. 4. Choose one thing to release today. Not everything, just one. A worry, a judgment, a deadline you can't force. Let it go. Watch what softens inside you. Letting go doesn't happen all at once. It happens one breath, one choice, one moment at a time. You don't need to master the whole river. You just need to take one step off the shore. And remember, this practice is yours. Gentle, real, and ready whenever you are. Conclusion. Live gently, flow freely. You've made it to the end. That alone is something worth celebrating. You've taken a sacred pause. You've listened deeply. You've opened your heart to 7 timeless Buddhist lessons. Each one whispered a quiet truth, that life becomes lighter when you let go, that peace arrives when you stop chasing it. So let's take a breath and remember what you've learned. Fear is a seed. What you plant in your mind becomes the shape of your life. Surrender is strength. You don't have to hold everything for it to work out. Anxiety lives in tomorrow, but your joy is only ever available right now. Most fears never happen, but they steal real moments from today. Control feels powerful, but it often blocks the deeper power of letting go. Worry shrinks your world. Letting go invites growth, love, and courage back in. And when you step aside, life flows. Gentler than you expected, wiser than you planned. Ask yourself now, What are you ready to let go of today? What burden have you carried too long? What would open up inside you if you simply released it? You don't have to transform everything overnight. Just one breath, one thought, one moment of trust. That's where the path begins. We want to say thank you, truly. Thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for showing up for your heart, for your healing, for your peace. If any part of this message touched you, inspired you, or made you pause, congratulations. You're not just listening, you're waking up. And that's the greatest gift of all. Now we'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you're ready to let go of? Which lesson spoke loudest to your heart? How will you begin letting go in daily life? Share your thoughts in the comments and below. You never know who you might inspire. If you found value in this message, please consider supporting us. Click like, subscribe to the channel, and follow us here at Son.Mindfulness for more insights rooted in ancient wisdom. Your support helps keep this space alive. Your presence makes it meaningful. Wherever you are today, may you be well. May your days be light. May your nights be restful. May your path unfold with joy, peace, and a little more grace. Stay strong, stay soft, and always remember you're allowed to let go. With gratitude, Son.Mindfulness.